Welcome you all. In this session, let us see about software testing. Myself, Geeta Priya from PG Department of Computer Science. Ajanta, software testing. Why do we test the software? Purpose of testing. Who should test? Bug, fault, and failure. What is testing? Who does testing? The development process, life cycle, and then type of testing. Software testing, which is process of to identify the correctness, completeness, and then quality of the product. Also, the process of executing the program under the manual and then automation testing. So, the software testing need to satisfy with the three conditions. One is required specification, functionality, and then performance. So, why do we test the software? We need to improve the quality and then reduce the cost and then customer satisfaction, which is important. Purpose of testing, the testing need to meet that different requirements like security, functional performance. After the verification is done to ensure that the building the system in a right way. Who should test? Developer, independent tester. Developer need to understand the system and then test it gently and then driven by deadlines. Independent need to learn the system and then break it and then they're driven by the quality. Bug, fault, and failure. Before that, we need to know about the error. Error is the human action that is produce the incorrect results. Whereas a bug is while executing the software, the error is present. That is called bug. Whereas fault is the software caused by error. Failure is inability of a software system or the components which is performed as it requires function. What is testing? Testing need to evaluate the system or its components to find whether the satisfied with the specified requirements or not. Also, to identify the gaps and then missing requirements and then errors. So, who does testing? So, tester, developer, project lead or manager, end user. In a large companies, they have the team with the responsibility to develop the software with the requirements. So, the developers also they conduct the testing. They may called as unit testing. These are the process, requirement analysis process, product specification process, design process, testing process. In the testing process, there is a two types. One is verification process and then validation process. Verification is nothing but to check whether the software conform with the specification, whereas validation to check whether the software meets with the requirements. And verification is also which is not involved executing the code, whereas validation executing the code. Verification is human based checking documents and files, whereas validation is computer based executing the programs. Verification is done by development team to provide the software as per the specification. Validation to carried out with the involvement of client and testing team. Verification is comes first down before validation. It generally follows after the verification, which is validation. These are the life cycle. In a life cycle, there is a six phases. So, in a life cycle, there is a different activities to to the testing team to ensure they to bring the quality of the product. That is what over of the life cycle. Requirement analysis, which is a first phases. In this phase, the quality assurance team will understand the requirements and then figure out the testable requirements. There are three types of requirements. Business requirements, they use the high level requirements for the business projects. Architecture and designers, the requirements are more detailed than business requirements. It determines the design to implement the business projects, system and integration requirements, detailed description of each and every requirements. And then test planning, which is also called as test strategy. The test manager will determine the efforts and cost estimations of the entire projects. So they are commonly using the testing types. Test case development is after the test planning, the tester need to write the test cases. Along with it, they need to prepare the test data. So that is what test case development. So the test case should be simple and transparent and avoid the test case repetition. Create the test case with the end user and the software requirement should be covered 100%. Implement testing techniques. The test case should generate the same results every time. Test environment setup. So setup of software and hardware for the testing team to execute the test cases. Setup of test server, which is the test may not execute in the local machine, whereas it needs this server to support the application. Networks, we need to set up the networks as per the requirements. Test PC setup, we need to set up the different browser for different testers. Bug reporting tool should be provided for the testers, and creating test data for the test environment. So many companies, they have the separate test environment for the to test the software product. Test execution, at last the process of execution, which is comparing with the expected and actual results. Test cycle closure, which is the final phases in the life cycle. The testing team members meeting and evaluating this cycle based on the test coverage, quality, cost, time, business objective, and then software. So the test cycle closure needs that test summary report, identifier, test summary, variances, comprehensiveness assessment, summary of results, evaluation, summary of activities, approval. They have two types of testing. One is a manual and then automation. In the manual testing, the tester need to write the test cases manually, without using any automation tools. So also it can identify the success or failure of each and every transaction which will be recorded. So I worked with the sample for the sign up pages. So this is the in the many companies, they are writing the script that test cases, test name, description, test data, expected results, and then parameters. So for example, I take in for the sign up pages. First, we need to enter the URL to access the application. The expected one is the register page should be launched successfully. Next step is click on the sign up option. The sign up page should be displayed. Verify the page's title is customer registration. The expected one is customer registration. So like this we need to write. So whereas test data is nothing but the details of the users, which is the test data. Next, the login pages. Um, Login for the login pages, I also worked with this. So the user need to uh, enter the login pages. Before that, they need to enter the URL. After the expected one is the login page should be displayed, and the username and password is which is one the test data. They can logged in successfully. That page should be displayed. Whether the username or password is which is incorrect, the error should be also displayed. That is what expected one. So here I worked with the Excel sheet which is in a table format, which is able to understand easily. That is what manual testing. The user, which is where and when and where they can access each and every pages, each and every modules, they can be tested by the tester. And automated testing is nothing but the tester need to write the script to test the software by using the tools. So these are the tools. So here I worked with the Selenium tool, which is test run directly in the browser. So implement enter using browser technologies, JavaScript, HTML frames. So first uh, we need to create a sample project. For that I make use of the worked with this Selenium, and we need to give the new project name, and then we need to give the base URL to work with that. After that we need to start recording, and if you want search anything in this site, you may use of this. And then assert means we need to store the title of the what we search. So this is what actual perform. Here I worked with the two test cases. That is what at last I run all the test cases. Thank you.
Going to continue a topic on the seminar software testing. I am going to take testing method, levels of testing. In testing method, black box, white box, grey box we are going to see. First black box. Black box interact with the system user interface. The tester no need to know the full knowledge about the data. Advantage, code access not required. The tester is no need of full knowledge, well suited for large code segments. Disadvantage, not set for all size project, but some errors are not found. White box testing is also known as glass box or open box testing of internal logic and structure of code. The tester need full knowledge about the data. Advantage: extra lines of code can be removed. Disadvantage: only it's a time consumption, so cost or increase, need some debugging tools. Gray box testing is tester has access the design document and the database. It's a combination of both black box and white box advantage. Types of testing: functional testing, non-functional testing. Functional testing is a specification of software that is to be tested, and unit testing, integration, system, regression, acceptance, that what we are going to see next. Unit testings, individual parts are correct in terms of requirement and functionality. Each unit is tested and then integrated to the main project. As example, white box testing, it can be used. Example program is calculator, each is tested and then integrated. There are three ways it can be done: big bang, top down, bottom up. Big bang is modules are tested first and then integrated, and top down approach, low level modules are tested and then high level, and bottom up is opposite to top down. High level modules are tested and then to the low level. Sandwich approach is combination of both top down and bottom up. Integration testing is what I said is same. The modules are tested and then integrated. System testing, as a whole project, the project is tested, is a system testing. Regression testing is mainly used to return a bug. System testing is what I said, to testing the entire system. Next we are going to see alpha, beta, acceptance and performance testing. Regression testing is to verify that the fixed bugs hasn't resulted in another functionality. To return a bug is a regression testing. Acceptance testing, whether the end user is accepting the project or not. That testing is done in acceptance testing. Alpha testing is done by in the developer team. It's a spelling mistake, line broken, are all tested in this testing. Beta testing is by real environment, by giving a feedback, getting a feedback from the other users, and then finally it reaches to the end user. User will install and run the application, and the feedbacks are sent to the project team.
Hello everyone, this is Soumya. Now we are see about non-functional testing in software testing. Non-functional testing is the type of software testing to test softwares. It is mainly used for test non-functional parameters. Non-functional testing is must to test the softwares of the reliability, load test, performance and accountability. Its primary purpose is test the reading speed of the software system. The important thing of non-functional testing never tested before the functional testing. Why non-functional testing? For example, a developer developed a new software, but we must know that software capability is good or bad, so we have to test that software. The tests or checks correctness. Internal functions are tested for the software, while non-functional testing checks the ability to work in external environment. The measurement and metrics used for research and developments that are collected and produced under non-functional testing. These are the non-functional testing parameters: performance, loading, capacity, security testing, portability, accountability, reliability, and efficiency. Now we see brief about the non-functional parameters. First one, performance testing. Performance testing is evaluates the overall performance of the system. It validates the system meets expected response time. Evaluation of significant elements of application meets desired response time. It is also conducted as a part of integration testing and system testing. Then load testing. Load testing evaluates systems loading capacity. It means more and more people can work on the system simultaneously. Security testing. Security testing is must for every software. This testing is done via investigating system architecture and mindset of attacker. Where an attack is most likely happened, the test cases are conducted by finding areas of code. It includes the testing of authentication, authorization, integrity, and availability. Portability testing. It is for check the system can run or not on different OS without occurring any bug. This test working of softwares when there is the same OS but different software. Accountability testing. This test is done to test the system is operating correct or not. A function should give the same result for which it has been created. If the system will give the expected output or get customer satisfaction, that software get paused or otherwise failed. Reliability testing. This testing was whether the software system run without fail under the specified conditions or not. This testing satisfied by system must be run for specific time and number of process. If condition will be satisfied, it gets paused or otherwise failed. Efficiency testing. The number of resources need to develop the software system examined by this test. This testing includes these 3 points. There are customers' requirements must be satisfied by the system of software. A software system should achieve customer satisfactions. Enough efforts should be made to develop a software system. Advantages of non-functional testing. It provides higher level of security. Security is a fundamental feature due to which system is protected from cyber attacks. It ensures loading capacity, so any number of can use it simultaneously. It improves performance of system. Test cases are never changed, so we don't need to write them more than once. Time time consumption is less as compared to other testing processes. Disadvantages. These are the disadvantages of non-functional testing. Every time they every time is updated, so non-functional tests are performed again. This the big drawback of non-functional testing, and due to software updates, people have to pay to re-examine the software. That software becomes very expensive. Non-functional testing tools. There are several tools available in the market for performance testing. There are JMeter, Loadster, LoadRunner, LoadStorm, NeoLoad, Forecast, Load Complete, Web Server Stress Tool, WebLoad Professional, Load Tracer, vPerformer. These are nowadays are very available, and thank you.